I feel as if Mob Psycho is an underrated anime because I don't see many people ever talking about it. The art style is a little bit rough, but don't let this start you off. The story has a lot to tell. The story follows Shigo, aka Mob, and his adventures as an awkward middle school boy who has psychic powers. Don't let Mob fool you, even though he's awkward and emotionless. His psychic power is immense, especially when his emotions bottle up and he reaches 100%. When Mob isn't at school, he's assistant to Reagan, a phony Esper who uses Mob to help his business and exorcise evil spirits. Another supporting character is a former evil spirit named Dimple, who Mob defeats, and then he decides to follow Mob and hopes that he can take over Mob one day and become a god using Mob's powers. Mob meets many Espers in his journey and befriends a fellow psychic, Hanazawa, another middle school student who has powers like Mob. As season 1 progresses, Mob's younger brother, Ritsu, awakens his psychic powers and is abducted by the Esper organization known as Claw. Mob, Hanazawa, Dimple, and Reagan battle against the Claw captains to free Ritsu and the other child Espers that were kidnapped. Season 2 shows a lot of Mob's growth as a person as he begins to come out of his shell a little more and show a little bit more emotion. Season 2 begins the world domination arc where the true antagonist of the series, Suzuki, the leader of Claw, makes his move. In a fierce battle, Mob defeats Suzuki by absorbing all his negative energy and giving him a new outlook on life and causing him to change his ways and want to reunite with his son that he neglected, Sho. In the midst of the battle, all the energy caused a giant broccoli to grow in the middle of the city, setting up Season 3's first arc, the Divine Tree arc. In Season 3, Dimple seemingly gets his wish and uses the energy from the broccoli to become a god and brainwash everyone to believe he is their leader. Mob changes Dimple's mind by accepting him for who he truly is and calling him his friend. Dimple has a change of heart and frees everyone from the brainwashing and vows to return home with Mob. The broccoli has its own plans and becomes conscious, and in one last act of heroism, Dimple brainwashes Mob to leave so he can use his power and destroy the Divine Tree. The next few episodes seem silly, but they set up the final arc of the series as Mob's childhood crush is announced to be moving away. Mob wants to confess his true feelings for her, and this raises all sorts of emotion in Mob. He gets her flowers and is on his way to meet her at the park where they spent most of their childhood at. When Mob saves a boy from being hit by a car, a whole bunch of trauma comes back to Mob, and his unnamed form takes over his consciousness and marches his way toward the park. The state Mob is in causes mass destruction, and no one can stop him. Not Hanazawa, not Sho, not Suzuki, not even his own brother Ritsu. What makes Mob break through and regain his body is Reagan telling Mob that Reagan is a phony and that meeting Mob changed his life. Dimple returns to help Reagan, and Mob finally breaks through and becomes Shigo again and confesses his feeling for Tsubuki. In the end, she rejects Mob and he shows emotion for the first time by crying with Reagan. The series ends with Mob and all his friends wishing Reagan a happy birthday, and Mob finally truly seems happy. So I truly love Mob's character growth and the message of just be yourself. I mean, he's an awkward teenager. We've all been there at one point. He doesn't really like to show emotion because it's all bottled up from the past trauma, and that all comes back in the final arc and is finally revealed to us. Like I said, don't let the art style throw you off because Mob Psycho is underrated. I really think it's underrated. I love the story that it had to tell. There weren't really many fights and stuff like that, but the fights were animated pretty good. But the last 2 episodes of the series are damn near perfect as you go through every emotion watching the last episode. You want to laugh, you want to cry, and it just shows that, Mob's changed so much as a person and finally came out of that awkward shell. Good characters, good story, and even better message. Just be you.